since I was 14 years old, so 20 years or so now. Um, I didn't always start with bass. A lot of people don't know this, but my first instrument was actually the violin. So that's something that not that many people know about. But when I was young, I started playing the violin, and then I started with an acoustic guitar. There you go, see? Back in the day. And so I started playing acoustic, but with my fingers. And my dad said, if you're going to play with your fingers, you should play bass. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll try it. I was so young, I just wanted to play like rock stuff, so I just wanted a guitar. And so we traded the guitar in for a bass. And when I was young, my favorite band, still one of my favorite bands, Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, of course, because Flea, so good. And so I started playing some Chili Peppers tunes, learning some stuff like that. I got into Rage Against the Machine. You guys know Rage Against the Machine, obviously. And so I learned some of those songs, and then I started getting into the heavier stuff like Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth, obviously, like the thrash metal stuff you guys know. I know you guys love your thrash metal down here in Santiago, right? So that's how I started, and I really started loving bass more as an instrument, and as the more I played, I found my own way of playing. You know, I've created like a different approach because of listening to all of the different guys that I love, like Steve Harris, obviously. I love Primus, so Les Claypool was obviously one of my favorites. That's where I got the strong thumbs, right? And Cliff Burton, who could ever forget, man? Cliff looked really sick. He played so good, like Metallica was a huge influence for me growing up. So I kind of, over time, learning all those different songs, I made my own way of playing because it's really fast, you know, playing with your fingers. A lot of guys that play thrash metal play with a pick, but I don't know. I was born differently. I'm like allergic to the pick. I can't play, right? So I learned with my fingers and playing really fast bands. I got into the band, my first band, when I was only 18 or 19 years old. I started playing in a band called The Absence from Tampa, where I'm from. And it's more of like melodic death metal, like kind of. We loved In Flames, we loved Arch Enemy, stuff like that, Soilwork, anything from Sweden, basically. We love that sound. So that was my first real band and the first time I ever went on tour with a band. So the guy that was playing before me was playing with a pick. And I was like, oh, damn, like I have to learn how to go fast. So that's what helped me learn how to play fast, was playing with the Absence with my fingers and I play like 3 style. You know, Steve Harris only needs 2, but Steve Harris is like an alien. I don't know how he does it, but he's the master. So that's how I developed playing with 3 fingers, trying to keep consistently like tremolo picking with 3, and playing with that band for several years. I did my first tour with them in 2007, and it was with my band, The Absence, a band called Goat Whore, The Red Chord, the Black Dahlia Murder, and Cannibal Corpse. So sick, the Tampa death metal legends. And so I did my first tour with them. I fell in love with playing on stage, headbanging, you know, playing in front of an audience. It's become like my passion. And it was that tour that helped me decide that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. And that was 16 years ago now. So that changed my whole life forever. I played in that band for several years, and when things started going maybe less busy with The Absence, there was some weird things that happened, obviously. Like all bands have problems. I ended up joining the band Havoc from Denver, Colorado, a thrash metal band, like pure thrash metal band. I think that's when I met you, long time ago, back in the day. And so Havoc taught me how to play even faster. The Absence taught me to go fast, but the Absence, I mean, Havoc was like way faster, way more technical. They let me start introducing some slap bass techniques. So it was kind of rare. You see most thrash metal bands playing with a pick. I was playing with my fingers and then doing sometimes slap bass stuff in the middle of all of that. So Havoc taught me how to do a hybrid style of playing finger style and slap style. So for me, that was very important growing up. Playing in Havoc definitely pushed my boundaries of what I thought I could do way farther. I'm super happy with the work that we did together in that band. We did an album called Unnatural Selection in 2013, and I think still to this day might be some of my favorite stuff I've ever recorded on a bass. You like that album? It's a good album, yeah. I love the sound of that. We got to work with the legendary producer Terry Date. He did all the Pantera albums. He did Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, like some of my favorite stuff to come from the United States and the West Coast in the 90s. And actually, it's funny because SOULFLY ended up doing an album with Terry Date, and I wouldn't say that I met them, but we were working together at the same time. Like Havoc was working with Terry, and Terry was also, he just finished working with SOULFLY on their album Savages. So we released Unnatural Selection. We did some tours together. We had a single called Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. It was one of my favorite songs. And the boss, Max Cavalera, he heard that song and he loved it. So he got in contact with our management, Havoc at the time, and he invited us on to do a tour in North America. And it was just SOULFLY and Havoc, man. It was one of the coolest tours I ever did. So we got to meet Max and Gloria and Zion and Mark and Tony. We toured all United States, I think, for 6 weeks. It was a long tour, a lot of shows, and got to be really good friends with Max and everybody. Partied pretty hard with those guys, and made a really good, strong friendship, like a bond. And then I continued to play in Havoc afterwards. We came down to South America after that tour for the first time, and we did Santiago, of course, was one of the craziest shows. That was the first time I ever got to visit your beautiful city. I love it here, by the way. Thank you so much for having me back. And we did, I think, a few weeks in Brazil. We did Colombia. We played a festival called Rock al Parque, I suppose, there, if you're familiar. It's a pretty big festival there. We did Costa Rica. We did Ecuador. It was beautiful, and that was my first time experiencing South America and the South American fans. And you guys, I say this all the time, but the fans in South America are the best, specifically here in Santiago, Chile. So you guys are amazing for that. We always love coming back. Every time it's amazing. So moving forward, I toured with Havoc for another year. We did a world tour on Unnatural Selection. We went everywhere: Japan, Australia, Europe, South America. We did plenty of Canada, North America. And then in 2015, I got a call from Gloria because Tony Campos, the bass player for SOULFLY, was leaving to go play with Fear Factory and Ministry, two of my all-time favorite bands. So Tony was going to play with them, and Gloria needed somebody to play bass just for a tour. And I said, well, I would love to do it. And then, some things happened, and my time with Havoc kind of came to an end. at the same exact time as Gloria offered me to play with SOULFLY. So I ended up joining SOULFLY full time in 2015. We did our first tour in North America with Soilwork and Decapitated. So it was a really cool first time experience. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona with Max and them, and I lived at their place, learned like 100 SOULFLY songs, SOULFLY, Sepultura, Nail Bomb, all of Max's stuff that he's done over his whole career. And I think it was there for like a few months. We started the tour, everything went perfect, and we closed 2015, playing some shows. 2016 we toured very heavily, and then in 2017 we started writing my first album working with Max and company called Ritual. If you guys have heard of it, I know you know. You definitely know. Ritual was my first album with Max. We went to work with a producer called Josh Wilbur in Los Angeles, and we got a house together for a whole month where we wrote all the music, and we ate a lot of burritos and became good friends there. I love that album. Some of my favorite stuff that we've ever done still. Some of those songs have been my favorite. I'm going to play a song for you guys off of that album in a minute. But that was a really cool experience to be able to write an album with like my hero, Max. You know, getting able to sit in a room with him and his son and Mark Rizzo and like write an album together. And I think it came out really awesome. I'm super excited about that part of my life and the opportunity to do that. And then we toured on Ritual all through the world again. I think it came out, Ritual was released in 2018, I believe. I could be wrong. You can Google it. I should have done more research, but I'm pretty sure it was 2018. We toured all around the world, did a huge tour with that one. And then I think it was 2020, we played a festival in Mexico City called Hell in Heaven Festival. Are you guys familiar with that one? Yeah? Super cool festival. But it was very bad timing because in 2020, as you know, we had the pandemic, and that was our last show. We thought we were going to get stuck in Mexico because it was like March 2020, and the whole world was shutting down. And we were on the last flight. I remember because I was going to Florida, and I was Phil Anselmo and the Illegals were playing as well, doing the Vulgar Display of Pantera. And I was on the same plane as Phil and his bass player because he lives in New Orleans and I live in Florida. We were on the same flight there, and it was like we were sitting at the airport looking at each other like, am I ever going to see you again? Man, is this the last show that anybody's like ever going to play? This is crazy. So we had a beer and went home for the next 2 years. We ended up sitting at home during COVID. And during that time, we tried to make the best of the situation, and we got into the studio. Well, I say we got into the studio, but I should say that we started writing the album that ended up becoming Totem, which we just released last year. But it was a very strange album because we wrote it in our homes. I was never in the same spot as Max and Zion. They were in Arizona writing the songs. I was in Florida basically on a phone call like, oh yeah, it sounds great. Like, let's go. And we were sending tracks back and forth, listening, and then I ended up performing my bass parts. I recorded it at my home and sent them to Arizona. They paced the whole album together, and that ended up being Totem. So we released that in 2021, I believe, and we've been touring that one ever since. Something kind of crazy happened during that album cycle. We lost our guitar player, Mark Rizzo, because, you know, things happen. But something that has been super cool for me personally was that we got the legendary Dino Cazares to come join SOULFLY and bring some of that Fear Factory love. Max and Dino have been friends for decades. Yeah, forever, yeah. So they worked together on the Nail Bomb album in the 90s. And a lot of people, maybe you don't know, but Max actually helped Fear Factory get signed back in the day. They got their first album contract back in the day because Max heard Fear Factory and the cassette tape. Yeah, yeah. You've done your research. Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because hearing them talk about it, Dino had to like fight Max to get the cassette tape back because Max was so in love with the sound that he was like, wow, I'm gonna do everything I can to help. So Max ended up helping Dino get signed to their old label, and now thankfully we have Fear Factory from that. So with all of that history combined, having Dino join us for SOULFLY was like a dream come true. Like aside from all the history, he's so fun. He's such a good guy. I call him Tio Dino. Tio Dino is amazing. We got to travel all over the world. We played a bunch of festivals. It was an honor to have him join us with the SOULFLY tribe. And we're going to plan on working together in the future, hopefully a tour, maybe something extra. I don't know yet. It's kind of a secret. We'll figure that out. But you just have to watch. So now we're 2023. We've got Totem out. We've got some cool stuff happening next year, and that kind of brings me to where I am currently in my journey. Maybe you may know this. I think my first time having a clinic for you guys, so super cool for me personally. And the main reason that I'm here is to promote something nobody else in the world knows this yet. This is you will be the first people to know that this piece of information is going to be happening next year. I'm super excited to be here. I'm a little bit nervous, actually, to say it out loud because it's been a secret for so long. That this will be the first time I will introduce you to my signature series, ESP Bass. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to be working with ESP. I've been with them since that first tour back in 2007 with The Absence. I've been playing ESPs my whole career. I've recorded every single album I've ever done with The Absence, with Havoc, now with SOULFLY. So it's been a long relationship. They've given me the blessing to create a bass of my own from everything. We designed it from scratch, and it's just an honor to be here. So thankful for ESP for making that happen. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're excited as I am because you're the first people to know, the first ones ever. So I'm going to play you guys a couple songs with the bass so that you can see it, so you can hear it. And I don't know. I think that'll be pretty cool, right? I'm going to start with a song from the Ritual album. It's a song called, here, I'm going to put this here. It's a song called The Summoning. And it's actually the first song that ever had blast beats on the beginning. For SOULFLY has never had a song with blast beats, and Max was super excited. Hold on one second. He was like, dude, this is the first time I had never had a blast beat in this song. Like, this is fucking killer, you know? So let me get my stuff together. And then I'll play you a couple songs. I'll talk about the bass, and then we'll do some questions. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask about the bass or playing with Max or anything from my past or the future, if I can say it. Sword fight here. Let me move this. Just getting warmed up. Thank you, guys. Let's play The Summoning. You guys ready? All right. So I chose that song because that's not only one of my favorite songs, it's the first SOULFLY song to ever have blast beats in the beginning and the drums, and it's the first song that we wrote in the studio when we were writing this album. And I was like, it's my first album with Max. I gotta bring something fresh to the table. So there's a few riffs in there that I started slapping the bass, and it's also the first time that there's ever any slap bass in a SOULFLY song. So that's how I put my mark on that. I love that song. A lot of the stuff that we were listening to a lot of thrash, like a lot of death metal, and a lot of industrial music. I don't know if you heard, but at the end it was kind of like, got really like electronic, stuff like that. We were listening to a lot of Three Teeth, this industrial band, Three Teeth, one of my favorite bands. And when that part got put in, I was like, okay, cool. This is definitely a different SOULFLY song. So that was one of the first ones we completed in the album. We ended up making that, I think it was the first song that we played live ever from the new album. I feel like I remember the exact day that we played it was in Essen, Germany. We premiered it for the first time. Somebody filmed it on YouTube before the album came out, and the secret was out. It was all over the place. So I love that. I love that song. It's definitely a cool song that shows off some of my approach to playing bass. Lots of triplets stuff, lots of rakes when you go wow, like that big rake noise. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if there's an official word for it, but and then a lot of slapping, which was cool that Max let me do that. He had like trust me to be able to do my thing on an album, and a song that he wrote is like, it's like pinch me, am I dreaming? You know, it's crazy. But yeah, like one of the coolest things about this bass is that I designed it to be able to hold lower tunings. SOULFLY plays in standard B tuning, which is the B string, B, E, A, D. So we made this bass with in mind that lower tunings, I'm going to get technical now for you guys, lower tunings usually need a longer scale length to maintain the strength and the sound of low tunings. So this bass, my bass, is the first of the B series basses to have a 35-inch scale length. It's the only one that they offer that way. Because that we play in low tunings, it's a little bit longer than normal basses because it holds that low B tuning, super heavy. Sometimes we tune down to standard A as well. And it's really like strong. It holds very nice tone even when you're tuned way low. And I thought that would be a cool aspect to bring to the ESP B series. Another thing that you guys may notice is the finish on this. It looks like a weapon, right? Like some sort of Viking weapon from the forest. That is, it's called being sandblasted. It's a sandblasted ash body. It's super light. I'll let you guys hold it when we're done. We'll do a little meet and greet, and you guys can pick it up and mess around with it if you like. But yeah, the sandblasted finish gives it that really cool look. It's not like any other bass. I think it might be one of the first times ESP's ever done a sandblasted finish on a bass. So that was really cool. I love the back. It looks like a table, right? Looks like some fine furniture or something. But it's got Nordstrand pickups. Here, let me set that down real fast. The pickups are from a Swedish company called Nordstrand. They're big split pickups. The higher end B series that are available through ESP have Nordstrand. I used to play, I've played every single sort of bass that you could ever play in my life. And I fell in love with ESP when I was a young kid because the guys in Metallica playing ESPs, Tom Araya. I know you guys know Tom Araya, de Chile, Slayer. I fell in love with his bass, and it was at ESP. And ever since then, I started playing ESPs because all my heroes played ESP. And to be able to have my own bass with that company, the same company that builds guitars for all of my heroes, Max also plays ESP. It's just a dream come true. So yeah, I'm super, super excited about this. It's got a couple of cool little things. I don't know how much technical stuff you guys know, but the pickup arrangement and the preamp are designed just how I play my basses. There's 2 volume knobs, 1 volume for this pickup, 1 volume for this pickup, and then a 3-band EQ, so lows, mids, highs. Simple. I wanted something simple because I'm sure you guys have seen the guitars. There's a million knobs, and it feels like you're an astronaut trying to go to space. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to plug my bass in, turn it on, and rock. And that is what we accomplished with this bass. Making a signature instrument, especially with a massive company like ESP, I think it was important to put some of myself into the instrument because I wanted an ESP because I wanted to sound like Tom Araya. So if you want to sound like Mike Leon, now you can do that because you could get the Mike Leon bass and plug it right in and have a killer tone immediately. So yeah, can't say how excited I am about this thing. One of the coolest parts about it also, I like a string through body. So the strings go through the back right here. You can see, and it comes across in the front. That's to, it helps with resonance, and it helps just get a better tone because the strings go through the bass instead of just being on the top. It's like a part of it more. It gives it like a more, exactly, like strong tone. It's got a rosewood fretboard. Oh no, this one's not rosewood. This is ebony fretboard. To give it that cool black on black look, we put an ebony fretboard. It's a nice wood. Stainless steel frets, Grover tuners, or Goto tuners, I'm sorry, and a bridge as well. And it's light. It's like most basses, you put it on and it's like a backpack full of bricks, super heavy. This one is like a samurai sword. You're like super light, super easy to play. Doesn't hurt my shoulder, which is amazing. But yeah, I've played so many different basses. The B series, this is heavily modified B series bass. We have one actually right here. This is like a regular. We turned this into that, basically. This is a B series. It's a 5-string, so it's a little bit different. You could actually buy this one. This one's from the store. We took a lot of the things that were in this bass, but we just made it fancier. We made it more metal. I love the B series. It's really versatile. You can play all kinds of music with it. I don't know if you guys you seem like metalheads, right? You're all metalheads. This is the bass for you. If you're a bass player and you want a nice heavy tone but light, this is it. It was super cool to be able to design this. I can't wait to record the next SOULFLY album, which will be soon. I can't tell you when, but it will be soon. I will be playing this bass in the studio, and I'm really excited to see how that comes out because it's like a whole different experience to playing and recording with your own instrument. I don't even know what it feels like yet. I'll let you know. Next time I come back to Chile and we do another one, I'll tell you how the experience was, but I'm super excited. I think I'm ready to play another tune for you guys off the Totem album. Do you guys know the Totem album? Anybody in here? You got it? Yeah. So this next one I'm going to do, I think, is called Superstition. We have a music video for this that we shot recently on our tour in Europe. We were in the Netherlands, and we decided we had already released the album. We didn't have an official music video yet, so some friends of ours came to the show with some really nice cameras and shot some live footage of us. So that became our biggest single off of the album. I think Max wrote it about the mountains that are in Arizona, because he lives there and he was gaining a lot of inspiration from nature. As you know, Max is very tribe-oriented, so we've been working a lot with like the indigenous peoples of North America and also South America, because Max is from Brazil. When we go to Brazil, we have the indigenous tribes come out and perform with us. Same thing in the States. When we get to the West Coast and we go to the reservations, we have the native people come out with us and perform, or at least just attend the concert with us, which I think is super cool. But this next song was written with them in mind. It is called Superstition, and it's a very heavy song, so let's play. A lot of cool percussion from the Indian tribes. Oh, yeah. Nice fast one for you guys. I saw you trying to do a circle pit right here. Too many chairs. All right. I want to talk about a technique that I use to play with. When I started playing with the brothers Cavalera, both Max and his brother Igor, I think it was about 2017, I was invited on their project that they were doing, celebrating the albums of Sepultura back in the day. They started with the album Roots. You know that one? Uh-huh. Of course you do. Started doing Return to Roots, I think in 2016. And then in 2018, they had the idea to do two of my favorite albums ever, especially metal albums, Beneath the Remains and Arise. Some of the best, in my opinion, some of the best thrash metal ever to come out of Brazil and the whole world. So when they asked if I would be interested in playing with those albums, I was obviously, it was a very huge honor to play with them. But just like every other band that I have joined in the past, remember I told you the Absence taught me how to go fast, Havoc taught me how to be technical. Playing with the brothers that created Sepultura was a whole new world for me, being a super, super fast technique and very technical. It was like everything I had done in my life worked to that point. And I had to use every tool that I have learned to be able to play those songs. And I even had to create a new technique for myself just to be able to go so fast. So what I do, usually people do, here, let me see if I could turn up just a little bit, like triplets, nice and fast, like pretty cool. But to be able to keep up with Max and Igor, I had to involve my thumb. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to be able to go fast, fast, fast all the time. So it ends up sounding kind of like. Let me take this. That was something that I had to develop. Thank you. Thank you. I had to develop that technique just because, as I said, Max and Igor. Igor's one of the craziest drummers I've ever had to play with. And he's like, bam, 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 bam. He hits so hard. So I had to keep up with him, and I had to create this technique for myself to be able to play. So I was able to use a lot of that when we recorded the Totem album in 2020. I brought a lot of that technique in. So I have the regular finger style, the slap style that I had been playing with SOULFLY, and then introducing this new style of the 4-finger, the 3-finger and thumb technique. And we made a song called Filth Upon Filth. I think this was the first single that we released on the Totem album. And that's another song that has all of the different tools that I have in my arsenal. So let's play that one real quick. It starts off pretty fast, and yeah, try not to hurt yourselves in a circle pit over here. You ready? Filth upon filth. I love that song. That's a busy one, a lot of stuff going on, you know? So I'm using my thumb instead of the 3 fingers all the time, like that. So something that I do is, or just a regular. I do that because it helps. You only have so many fingers, right? You have 4 fingers. I play with 4 fingers. I got 4 strings, and then when I play it like that, it helps my hand be in the right position to go from finger style into slap style, so I don't have to move so much. Okay, so it's hard to do this holding the microphone. 1 second. Let me figure something out here. Can you guys still see if I put it right here? All right, so the reason I do that, is because it's more economical, less movement to be able to go and stay precise when I'm playing. So like, you know what I'm saying? That's nice. Thank you. So that was something that I just developed out of necessity, because all of the bands that I play with they're so fast, and so much stuff happening all the time. I was struggling to keep up. And one day I was preparing for the tour with Max and Igor, doing Beneath the Remains and Arise, probably the hardest music that I've had to play in my career, because of the technicality, because of the speed, and because of how precise, because we wanted to celebrate those legendary albums and do the best job that we could. You can't just go and play Arise, but like, you know? You have to be strong and like ready for that. So we did a lot of preparation with those songs, and that technique was really a key for me to keep up with everybody. So I think to celebrate the fact that I got to play with the brothers and play all those legendary songs with Sepultura, the guys who created Sepultura, I think I'm going to play you guys a song from the Beneath the Remains album. You guys know it? Yeah. You ever heard of Inner Self? You know some Inner Self? He's stoked. Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs that they've ever done, one of my favorite songs off of that album. And yeah, I'm ready. Let's give it. It's a live video. What a great song, man. So cool. Super cool. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. What's up, brother? Oh, shit. No, man, we don't use those here. I grow my own, brother. Thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah? Well, then you'll be happy about the next song I'm going to play then. So, yeah. As you can see, very fast. Very, very fast. A lot of really precise stuff. It's kind of crazy to play those songs because this bass is set up to the SOULFLY tuning with B-E-A-D, but I'm having to use the E string right here. It's okay. I'm not afraid. We'll make it work, but yeah, it's just a little bit different. So the next song that I'm going to play is a title track of a album, and it's an album that begins with A, Arise. Anybody ever heard of Arise from Sepultura? Also one of my favorite albums of all time. It's such an honor to have been able to play those songs with those guys because Sepultura's Arise album was actually how I discovered Sepultura. I was at a friend's house one time when I was like 16, 17 years old, and we used to have a festival called Ozfest back in the day, and I saw them on Ozfest back in those days. That's right. That's the first time I saw Black Sabbath as well with all the members, Dimmu Borgir and all those cool bands, Lamb of God. It was a really cool year. So some of my friends and we skipped school, and we didn't go to class, and we went to go see Ozfest instead, and we all slept over at my friend's house and we were watching, like, Jackass movies and just being 16-year-old kids. And my friend, we're watching some Pantera home videos, and my buddy Brad was like, "Have you ever heard of Sepultura?" And I was like, "No, never heard." He's like, "Dude, you need to listen to this." And he put on the Under Siege DVD, which is their live performance, I think in Barcelona back in like 90, 91. That's right. You guys know your stuff, man. Good job. And immediately changed my life. It blew my mind. I didn't know you could play that kind of music. Hearing Sepultura for the first time and watching those videos and the excitement of like going to Ozfest and skipping school with my buddies and stuff like that, I was immediately hooked. I became a fan instantly, and here we are, flash forward 20 years later, being invited to play with the brothers that created that band, those songs, that album was unbelievable to me, especially because I'm from Tampa, Florida. Tampa, Florida, if you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, death metal capital of the world. Who was that? Was that you? Good man, both of you guys. I can't see, it's bright up here. Yes, Tampa is known to be the death metal capital of the world. We're super, super happy to be able to say thank you that we have bands like Death, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, some of the best death metal bands come out of Tampa. There was a studio called Morrisound Studios where all of those bands used to record their albums. All of those favorite albums that you guys had, they all recorded there, including Sepultura. They did an album with Scott Burns, who was the producer who ran that studio. The first album they did was Beneath the Remains. Scott flew down to Brazil to write and record the album with those guys. But then on Arise, they all flew to Tampa, Florida, went to Morrisound Studios and recorded, in my opinion, the best album that Sepultura did in that era, for sure. They set the bar very high with that album. It was everything that they had worked on. That was the pinnacle, I think, of everything that they had created up until that point. So being a Tampa Floridian, playing on an album that was born in Tampa, for me was the biggest, the biggest honor. And I had to make sure that when we were playing these songs that I gave it 666%. You know, you can't play those songs half-assed. And with all of these techniques that I developed over the years, and the relationships that I built with Max and his brother throughout the course of our time playing together, it was really cool that they let me kind of play my way their songs, you know, because there was no slap bass on the Sepultura albums. There was none of that live. Paulo plays with a pick, so I had to practice to be able to keep up with that. But it was cool that they let me do my own thing and like adding some pops and some slaps just to be able to cut through the mix. And I feel like very confidently that I can say that us playing those songs through those tours that we just did, we did a whole world tour with the Beneath the Remains Arise project. I think confidently that we played those songs better than they've probably ever been played before in their history of being around. Did any of you guys get the chance to see those? We played in the Teatro Caupolicán, do I say it? Yeah, love that place, by the way. One of the coolest venues I've ever played. As I said before, Santiago, Chile has the best crowd in the world. We love you guys. So playing a beautiful, old, humongous venue like that, playing these songs stronger than we've ever played them before, I think. Super awesome honor. Thank you guys for those of you who were at that show. It was one of the best ever in my life. I know Mama Norma was there. She was there. She was headbanging in the rafters back in the back. But yeah, I'm going to play you guys my favorite song off of the Arise album. It is the title track. He knows. It's Arise. All right? Let's get it going. There we go. Super creepy intro, right? Sounds like a horror movie or something. What a track. Seriously, man. I don't know how you guys haven't like knocked all these chairs over and just circle pitted. I'm about to stage dive on top of you guys. So yeah, man, that kind of is as a musician, as a bassist, and as a metal music fan, playing with those guys, playing here in their home turf, playing in front of the best crowd on the planet, Santiago, Chile. It has been an absolute pleasure to be able to experience that, to meet all of you guys. I can't wait. And to have the opportunity to come here to Audiomusica to talk about music and my brand new signature bass from ESP coming out next year. I'm blushing. I'm nervous, honestly. It's a big honor for me. And I appreciate you guys coming here and hanging out with me and experiencing this with me. It's my first time doing something like this. So, I don't know. Thank you, man. Thank you. I hope you guys had a good time. And I was just, hold on, let me take this off for a second. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them for you. You guys have any player like questions? If you want to talk about how I play or playing with Max or some history, what's coming up next? What you got, brother? Oh, hold on. We got a microphone for you. Look at that. Check, check. Here, I could just give you this one.
No. Hi, Mike. How you start your like creativity process? Like, I mean, you try to not do the same thing every record, you know? How you start? You sit down and try to make a new riff, or how this happen?
Great question. That's one of my favorite parts of being a musician, is drawing inspiration to create something new. And aside from, practicing and learning new ways to approach the music, kind of how I've been talking about my right hand techniques, that's fun. To get myself in the right mind space to write something new, what I love to do is to listen to other kinds of music. Like, there's cool patterns everywhere. Music is mostly just patterns and melodies. That's the base of music. So I listen to a lot of different stuff, and maybe I'll be listening to some 80s pop music, and I'll hear something that like a keyboard player is doing, and I'm like, damn, my ear hears that first. It's like my favorite part of the song. It's a cool melody, but it's played on a different instrument. So I try, and when I'm sitting there, maybe I'll learn it on bass, and then that kind of gets my ear, my mind, and my hands into something different that I may not have thought of on my own. So using other music to inspire myself to create new music is a really cool tool to do that. Thinking outside of the box. Because if you only listen to Slayer riffs, it's going to be hard for you to write anything but Slayer riffs. Nothing wrong with Slayer riffs. Love me some good Slayer riffs. But to answer your question, if you're trying to get some inspiration to write outside of the box, I suggest listening to other music, maybe trying to play different melodies. Like I said, if there's a vocal melody, maybe you like the chorus. Maybe you like the chorus of a Taylor Swift song, and it's super catchy, and you love it. Try to learn how to play it on your instrument. It might inspire you to have a different approach to your song that you're writing, And I think that's a really cool way to keep things fresh. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else? I saw you had one up here.
It's working? Yes.
Yeah, here we go.
Hello, how are you?
Good, man.
My name is Alex Moore. I'm a street musician here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I play guitar even with my stuff here.
Yeah, I saw you rocking in. You were walking like rocking at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a good clothes to show to people too. People
Yeah.
are like, oh, it's cool.
You've got the look.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Also, I will have my signature guitar next year.
Oh,
Yeah, because I have my band too, and during the things do well.
very cool.
Yes. So
It's
I
an
want.
awesome feeling, right?
Yeah, you know. You know
Yeah,
it.
got you.
Yeah. I want to ask you, how is your technique about, not your technique, just technical specs to have a bass on you?
My specs?
Yes.
For this guy right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So something that's, I'll start from scratch. This is a heavily modified version of the B series, the B1004. This is also a B series. So we took a lot of, it's obviously quite different, as you can see. We took some of the parts that I liked about that bass and made it my own here. One of the main key features of my instrument is that it has a longer scale length. This, I believe, ooh, can we turn this down a little bit? Hey. I don't know if it gets louder, if it's just because I'm moving around too much. It's okay? Maybe. I don't know what happened. Anyways, because the band I play in has a lower tuning, we play in standard B, which is like a 2.5 steps, I believe, from standard E. I'm in B, E, A, D, and lower tunings actually, it sounds better for bass and it feels better when you have a longer scale length, because the string gauge I use is 125 or 0.125 on that low B. And when you have a lower string gauge, a longer scale length helps retain good resonance throughout the neck. I play with a kind of a high action, so I really like a nice strong, I play really hard too, so it's nice to have that extra scale length. I could put a thicker gauge string on there so that it retains tunings a little bit better. It's not so floppy, you know? Which one? Wood? Yeah, so this is, the body is an ash body right here, and it's sandblasted. I think it's one of the first times we've ever done this with ESP. They had a lot of guitars that were that way, but this is one of the first basses that they did with the sandblasted finish. I think it looks amazing. Looks like a Viking weapon, or like a fancy table that you'd find at your grandma's house. But a really metal grandma, actually, if it was. So we got the sandblasted ash here on the body. We've got the I think it's a 5-piece wingy, and I believe Bobinga 5-piece wood. We got the ebony fretboard, stainless steel frets. These pickups here are Nordstrand pickups. They're a Swedish company called Nordstrand. They're called the Big Split. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love them. Super clear. Like, I have a very heavily distorted tone with my dark glass. I use a dark glass B7K for my tone. Sure, you can give it a look. Pretty simple. Don't copy my specs, bro. He's like taking a mental picture. I'm like, okay, 12 o'clock here. No, it's a super good pedal. I love, a lot of my tone comes out of that. I love it because I can fly everywhere with it and bring just that and plug in and rock. But yeah, the Nordstrands are really killer because even if you don't have distortion, they're very clean pickups. Very clean pickups. 100%. It's like a perfect canvas to paint whichever color you'd like. Super clean. It could be pristine. You could sound jazzy. You can sound angry, super metal. Like, just, it's a perfect way to say it. It's like a good, clear canvas that you can put whatever you want there. Exactly. That's right. And then, as far as other super specs, it's just a string through body, which also helps with resonance. You get a little bit more of the wood tone out of that because the strings go through the back and above the top instead of just being on the top. I've always loved string through body styles, so when I had the opportunity, I made sure that we had a string through bridge system. And the pickup orientation, to get super technical, you got a volume knob here for your neck pickup. You got a volume for your bridge pickup and a 3-band EQ with lows, mids, and highs. And the EQs knobs have a notch in the middle. So, little secret for my tone, I do full bass, mids in the middle, and treble all the way. So it's like 100%, 50%, 100%. It's a secret. I trust you guys, though. No, it's not. When we're done with this, when you guys come up, when we do the meet and greet part, you guys can hold it if you want and check it out. But it's super light. As it's the lightest bass I've ever played, but it sounds so heavy. Oh, dude, Cannibal Corpse. Tampa. Yeah. Spectres are great. I actually got to jam a lot with Alex when I was a kid. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but one of the first tours I ever did was with Cannibal Corpse. And we live in the same city. Well, he lives somewhere else now, but back then we lived in the same city. And my small band was practicing in the same building as Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, we were neighbors, exactly. I would literally, we'd be done doing our sound check or, doing practice and walk outside to go, to the bathroom and hear them playing Hammer Smashed Face. And Cannibal Corpse is just like, oh, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so, yeah, Alex was a huge inspiration for me growing up, and he taught me a lot of stuff. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because Alex taught me something about, finger separation. I play with my fingers. Alex is a pioneer of fingerstyle playing for bass and metal. And he taught me how to you have, 3 fingers or 4 fingers? I play with all 4 of my fingers. And he plays with a 5-string. I play with a 4. But he taught me in my practice regimen how to assign a finger for each string so that each of your fingers is equally as strong, and you strike with the same strength every string, and it helps just being consistent with your playing. And I shout out to my dude Alex Webster for teaching me that. It was a huge part of myself growing up as a bass player. So yeah, super nice, the nicest. So good question, man. Thank you. We got you. How about that? 4 questions. I got some minutes for you, bro. What you got? Here, we got a mic for you.
La última pregunta, viejo, porque ahí pasamos al meet and greet.
All right. So the first.
Pick 2 good ones.
All right. Well, I'll start with one boring technical one first.
Okay.
Have you ever tried a Stingray bass before, like a Music Man bass?
Funny thing you say that. I used to love the Stingray style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have played every bass you could think of. I've been playing for over 20 years, and I've been in a million guitar stores, and every time I go right to the bass section and I say, well, which one do I want to try? And then Warwicks, Yamahas, Ibanez, but I'm an ESP lifer. But yeah. Do you have one? Is that what you ask?
No, I'm interested in getting one. But when it comes to ESP,
that's the only bass you need to be interested in, my guy.
Yeah, when it comes to ESP, the only thing I own is a Jeff Hanneman signature guitar.
Awesome.
Because I got it for cheap, actually, and I just fixed it up as I went, and I just filled it with anime stickers.
There you go. Yeah, he would have done the same thing.
Yeah, no, but anime stickers, he wouldn't have done that.
Oh, anime stickers.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, that's completely different.
That's different.
But I did put active pickups on it, though, too, so
cool.
That's half Jeff Hanneman, too.
Yeah, Slayer's the reason why.
Another technical question I have is, how do you do it so that, when you're using your fingers, you don't hurt, your wrist? Because, every time I play bass, I really hit the strings really hard, and my wrist is always in pain because I'm used to playing with a pick on guitar. So
Nothing wrong with that. There's a million great pick players. Some of my favorite pick players.
like I don't know, Paul Gray's the first one that comes to mind. That's
There
like
you
good
go.
at
Dave Ellefson, dude.
yeah, Dave Ellefson too.
Yeah. How do I do it? That is a good question. I practice a lot. I know that's the easy answer, but I practice a lot. I've been playing for a very long time, and I have when I teach any sort of lesson, I always try to start off, whether it's like a beginner or intermediate or even experienced, I do something that helps my mobility. It's not even like, has nothing to do with the bass. It's a mobility exercise that I can show you. I use almost, picture like there's a table here, or like a piano almost. I alternate my fingers, every other finger. See? Every other finger, and then I go back down and back up and then back down. It helps mobility and helps elasticity in your fingers so that you share tendons in between your fingers. So having that separation between your fingers helps strengthen your hand in total. That way when you're playing and you're going really fast, I don't get tired because I do that all day. You can ask my wife. I walk around, maybe you'll see me I'll be standing at McDonald's waiting for a French fries, and I'm sitting there, just on my hand, just doing that all day. It's something that you can do all day. You don't need any tools. You don't need anything. You just need to try it. Go up one way.
Do something similar with my left hand, again, because I play guitar mostly, where I just like put my fingers like this when I'm done playing for a while.
Okay, that might be a little
Too much?
strenuous.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah, you don't want to stretch. Like there's a lot of people I see that do that kind of like a big stretch or like all that stuff. You don't want to do that too much because you can go too far, and if you hurt yourself like before a gig, you're going to have a hard time for the rest of the gig. I've done it, trust me. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. Like just enough movement to get that mobility. You can almost see like the muscle in my hand. It's like dancing. There's like a little worm in there crawling around, right? It helps strengthen your hand. It helps each one of your fingers be more accurate, and it's a lot less fatigue if you're playing long sets. Like when I'm doing these Cavalera sets, we can play for 2 hours, and it's fast, the whole fast, all kinds of. I'm slapping, I'm raking, I'm plucking, I'm tapping, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. But I don't get tired. My neck gets tired from headbanging, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
My hand I accredit it to just doing a lot of that and drinking plenty of water.
I forget to do that sometimes.
A lot of people do. You're not the only one. We all forget to drink. Everybody here, go drink some water as soon as you can.
One slightly...
You are water. Well, beer, yeah, okay, hey. You do you, bro.
Gets you a little
I'ma do
thirsty,
me.
though. Beer gets you a little too thirsty sometimes, though, I gotta say.
I'm pretty thirsty, actually, right now.
One like history-related question I have, more or less, is does Max Cavalera still play BC Riches like in the studio or rehearsal or anything, or are they just that? Does he even own them anymore?
Good question. He definitely still owns. Well, the ones that he didn't break, he still has.
He smashed them?
He still has some of them, yeah. He used to throw his guitars like they were toy, throw them in the crowd, and then our big tech Ken Dog, if you've ever seen us play, dive into the crowd after and give me that back.
Most SOULFLY shows I've seen are from like 99, 2000 online.
There you go. We got to come out. Come to a new show.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, no, Max does not play any of those. I'm sure he still has them somewhere. One of them is actually in a museum in New York, and we were fortunate enough to go check that out. I forget the name of the museum, but there was an exhibit going on where they were showcasing legendary guitar players and their iconic axes. I don't remember what it was called, but it was they asked him to have his guitar, like the legendary, I don't remember what it's called, a BC Rich
Warlock.
Warlock, I believe
Yeah.
it was. It was like a red one.
Yeah,
Something like
like
that.
it had like a Kaler bridge that was hardtailed and
If you say
had
so.
the no. I'm just saying because I remember all this stuff. It's because I researched both Andreas and Max's gear from the Sepultura years.
There you go. You've done your research.
Yeah, a lot, too much.
A lot of Google,
Yeah, too much.
Wikipedia.
Everything.
Awesome.
Even videos and stuff.
There you
so,
go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's also been an ESP artist, has been as long as I can remember. He's got several signature models.
Yeah, he's got that SG with the Brazilian flag.
Yeah, he's got the SG, legendary green SG. That was, I think, his first one. When he created SOULFLY, I believe, is when he moved over to ESP, and that was his first signature model. And then he created a brand new body style that was a mixture between
The Warlock and
the
like
Warlock and the BC Rich. I think it's called a bitch. I don't know.
a beast or something.
Beast, yeah.
Or bitch. One of those two.
I don't know what it's called. I'm not a
They're
guitar player.
they have
bro.
too many. They
I
have too
didn't
many.
Wikipedia as much as you did
Yeah.
before I came here. But he has taken those two styles and created his new guitar. He's had it for a few years now, but he calls it the Reaper, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like a mixture of both, like a hybrid of his two favorite BC Rich.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
but it's an ESP.
I'm mostly familiar with the camo finish one. Like that's
Yeah,
the
camo
iconic one.
finish. He's got a few of them now, and for each different project, he's got like the Cavalera Reaper. He's got the SOULFLY Reaper. We got digital camo. There's a bunch of them, and you can find them all obviously on the ESP website.
Final question.
One question.
Did you play? Yeah, last question.
You're good. We could just chat all day.
Yeah, I
brother.
know.
What you got?
No, but my last
What's
question
your,
is:
what's
you
your favorite
did.
food?
I can go on all day about
Hey,
food.
me too.
No,
Oh,
last
yeah.
question is: you did play in the when they re-recorded Morbid Visions. You played bass on that, right?
No, I did not. No,
Oh.
that was Max's son Igor, and that's why he's actually out. They're out right now doing that tour.
Ah,
That's the reason I'm here talking to you guys. They're out there. So little Igor, he's not really that little. He's just younger Igor, son of Max. There's a lot of Igors in my life. I have to keep track of everybody. But yeah, Igor Amadeus was who played bass on the Morbid Visions and Bestial Devastation re-release. So he's out playing with his uncle and his father now, celebrating that album. So I think that's pretty cool. Those albums, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So they're out in
Those-
Europe right now, and I don't know if they're gonna bring it down here, but I think it'd be pretty crazy.
They really should, honestly.
I know you guys go crazy for some Cavalera down here.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
the
you very
questions.
much.
Yeah. Good ones. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to ask? All right.
I think we're set. We're ready for the meet and greet.
Perfect, man. I
Thank
love that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. It's been super fun. And maybe we'll do something again in the future, and I'll see you guys there. And keep an eye for some tour dates in case we might be coming down here, and we'll see you all at the show in the Circle Pit. What's that? Yeah, the socials. You can keep up with all of the stuff that I have going on. I got a lot of really cool stuff I think you guys are going to love. You can follow me at Mike Leon Shreds everywhere. You know, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. Shout out to all the homies on the Twitch right now. But yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing you again. So thank you so much for having me, man. It's been a pleasure.